this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for World Series of Fighting 5, Arlovski versus Kyle, which happens on Saturday, September 14th. Gotta say, it's probably the worst night to have a combat sports event, considering that Mayweather versus Canelo is on the same night. I understand that they're trying to put this on before, like an hour before that. It's 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC Sports and 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the prelims on MMAJunkie.com. As far as the card goes, you actually have some good prospects here, you know. Elvis Mutapcic. I can't really pronounce his last name. Georgi Karakhanyan. He should honestly be in the UFC by now. Rick Glenn. He fought in the last World Series of Fighting. Ozzy Dulugov. I can't pronounce his last name. He won also in the last. Not the last, but he fought in a previous World Series of Fighting and won. Jimmy Rivera, who, honestly, I'm actually surprised. 11 fight win streak. Surprised he's not in the UFC yet. He fought on The Ultimate Fighter. I believe he lost to Bermudez, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot who it was. And a good match. You got 3 Gracies on the card. A lot of Renzo Gracie fighters are fighting out on this card as well. So, let's get started. Okay, Andrei Arlovski fights Mac Kyle. This one's hard to call simply because I love Arlovski, and when the guy is on it, he's really good. You know, he's a good kickboxer, solid takedown defense. You know, the problem is when guy gets hit, he has the same. It's the same thing. It happened against Brett Rogers. It happened against Sergey Karatanov. I mean, it happens every time he gets pretty much knocked out. He was doing it in the 4th Tim Sylvia fight a couple times, so he just didn't get knocked out. He'll get hit clean. He moves back in a straight line. Lose all sense of defense and with his chin out, and usually gets tagged in the chin and gets knocked out. I mean, seriously, because he's fighting heavy hitting guys. To say his chin is weak, it's really tough to say, because against Bigfoot he didn't get knocked out. You know, he got knocked down, but not knocked out by Anthony Rumble Johnson. So, I mean, at this point, but chins don't get better. I mean, if you keep getting knocked out, your chin gets weaker. So I would actually say he has a weak chin. More importantly, he has weak defense. That's his problem. And it's a lot of people know it too. Hit him once, backs up in the straight line against the cage, with his chin up, gets knocked out. You know, that's his problem. When that doesn't happen, he does very well. Record-wise, 19-10 record with 1 no contest, 14 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He has 7 losses by KO or TKO. He's 34 years old, training out of Jackson's. Mike Kyle, 20-9 record with 1 draw and 2 no contests, 13 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by KO or TKO and 4 losses by sub. 33 years old, training out of AKA. He does have heavy hands. He dropped Bigfoot pretty much immediately, and he's a good boxer as well. Takedown defense isn't so bad. So in a sense, you know, if Mike Kyle touches Arlovski's chin, it could be night for Arlovski. Kyle, though, I mean, sometimes he's not all there, you know. I mean, the guy was thinking about retiring after getting guillotined by Rafael Feijiao. Fight was turned to a no contest. But, you gotta always wonder if he's there mentally. He did knock out Travis View. Travis View's chin is pretty much deteriorated, though. Otherwise, like I said, if Arlovski's on it, I think he wins this. And this is kind of an emotional pick because I am a big fan of Andrei Arlovski. I'm gonna go with him to win this one. Like I said, though, not super confident because Mike Kyle hits hard, and that is one of Arlovski's weaknesses. Just guys that hit hard. Okay, next fight after that for the middleweight tournament semifinal. So, this fight with David Branson, Danillo Villefort, and the fight with Elvis Mutapcic. I'm not gonna get his name right. Mutapcic versus Jesse Taylor. The winner of those fights fight each other, and eventually they'll have a middleweight champion. So you got David Branch versus Danillo Villefort. This one's actually pretty hard for me to call too. Both guys are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. David Branch, 12-3 record, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He's 31 years old on a 2-fight win streak. Trains out of Henzo Gracie's. One thing with Branch, like I said, his strength is in his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He is a pretty good wrestler as well. His striking, average to below average at best, to be honest with you. It's not his strength, Danillo Villefort, though, 14-4 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He does have 3 losses by KO or TKO. He's 30 years old, and he trains with the Black Zillions. Like I said, he does have some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His judo actually isn't too bad either. His Muay Thai is actually solid as well. You can see it in his fight against you can see it in a couple of his fights actually, or his stand-up isn't too bad. Jeez, I've got the crazy guy he fought he totally blasted with Muay Thai with knees and punches. Villefort's weakness generally has been his cardio. He does not have very good cardio. And that cost him a lot of times. Had a close fight in his last fight against Chris McRae. He's a solid fighter. I think he's... Heck, I'd even go so far as to say he'd be like a mid-tier UFC guy. Solid Muay Thai, solid Jiu-Jitsu, good Judo, well-rounded enough. It just, his cardio is really bad. And that's the thing that's why it makes it hard for me, because Branch could, wrestle him, avoid submission attempts, win with top control. Or maybe Danilo defends some of those takedowns, beats him up on the feet. Maybe gets his own takedowns on Branch. This one's really hard for me to call. After thinking about it, I'm leaning a little more towards Branch here, to be honest. Jeez. I think because of the stand-up edge, I gotta go with Danillo Villefort, because they're both good at the ground. But this one's really hard for me to call. I'll go with Danillo Villefort. Tough for me to call, just because I think they can negate each other in grappling, but I think he has an edge in the stand-up. So I'll go with Danillo Villefort to win this one. Okay, next right off that, Elvis Mutapcic fights Jesse Taylor. Jesse Taylor, 26-9 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 14 wins by sub, but out of his 9 losses, 8 of them are by submission. He's 29 years old on a 6-fight win streak, training at a team class. He is a good wrestler, some pretty good top control, but his submission defense, not the strongest, Elvis, though, 13-2 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub, 27 years old, 5-fight win streak. Has wins over like Sam Alvey in MFC, Joseph Henley. He knocked out Cesar Mutante. I saw that fight before, and I saw this fight to get a read on Elvis as well. He's got some good stand-up, solid submission skills. Thinks he's a solid prospect overall. I'll go with Elvis Mutapcic to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Hollis Gracie fights Derrick Mehmen. Oh man, this is a case of like, I'm pretty sure that they got 3 Gracies on the card because they want 3 Gracies to win. But the Gracies are really hit or miss. You know what they're gonna do. It just depends on whether their opponent can stop it. Hollis Gracie, 8-1 record, 7 wins by submission. He has 1 submission by strikes. That was against Bob Sapp. 35 years old, 5-fight win streak, training out of Penzo Gracie. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Derrick Mehmen, 15-5 record, 10 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by sub. He's 28 years old on a 3-fight win streak, training out of ATT. Last time I saw Derrick fight was actually fought Roy Jones in Strikeforce. I think that's the last time I saw him. Showed good wrestling actually in that fight. Overall, it's pretty tough to call because I know what Hollis Gracie's going to do. He's going to try and get the fight to the ground, use his superior Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Out of his 7 subs, they're either arm triangles or rear naked chokes. Those are definitely his favorable chokes or submissions. So it's really hard to say. Or is Derrick going to be able to keep the fight standing? Or maybe even just tire out Hollis Gracie. Do what Joey Beltran did, Survive on the ground, tire him out, beat him up on the feet, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'll go with Hollis Gracie, but it's so hard for me to pick it because I know what Gracie's going to do. He is capable of doing it. It's just, you just never know. But I'll go with Hollis Gracie to win this one. Next fight after that, Georgi Karakhanyan fights Waylon Lowe. Well, Waylon Lowe also has this funny story involving his private parts and some sort of cream or something he used. There's a big story on it. It was actually kind of funny. But yeah, he has a 14-4 record, 7 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 3 losses by sub, 32 years old, on a 4-fight win streak, training out of ATT. He's actually doing pretty well. His wrestling's good. His boxing's getting a lot better these days. But Georgi Karakhanyan, a really good, experienced fighter. 21-3 record with 1 draw. 4 wins by KO or TKO, 11 wins by sub. He's 28 years old on a 7-fight win streak. Training out of Millennia MMA. Guys like Lorenz Larkin train there. He's solid. He has solid kickboxing. If you ever seen his fight with Joe Warren, this guy's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is pretty solid. He'll throw triangle chokes off his back. He has a pretty good guillotine as well. He's relatively good off his back. Just a solid fighter. A lot of people thought he would go to the UFC. I think he couldn't cut a deal with them or something like that. But otherwise, I'm pretty high on Karakhanyan. I'll go with him to win this one. Okay, on to prelims. We have Rick Glenn versus Artur Rofi. Okay, Rick Glenn, 13-2 record with 1 draw, 7 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. 24 years old, 6-fight win streak, training out of Rufus Sports. Good kickboxer, beat Alexander Pimentel in his last fight. Was on a World Series of Fighting card. Looked pretty solid. With Artur, 6-0 undefeated record, 1 win by KO, 5 wins by sub. He is a finisher, solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, never been past the second round. I'll go with Rick Glenn to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Ozzy Dugulubgov fights Andrew Osborne. So you got Ozzy Osbourne, ha ha ha. Okay, with Osborne, 7-5 record with 1 no contest, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by decision. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO, and he's 25 years old. With Ozzy, 4-1 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. 24 years old, 3-fight win streak, training out of Henzo Gracie's. I'll go with Ozzy Dugulubgov to win this one. Okay, next fight after that. I would think that Gracie would want some revenge here, as Gregor Gracie fights Richard Patishnak. Now, with Patishnak, the last time he fought in World Series of Fighting, he fought Igor Gracie. He got his back taken, and what he would do is he'd do these like forward flip type of I guess you can call them slams, because he's trying to. He would do these weird forward. He'd stand up when Igor would take his back, and he'd kind of like forward flip, so like Igor would land head first into the ground. Some people think those are a type of spike. I don't think they are, actually. And Gregor Gracie, he lost in his last fight in World Series of Fighting to Tyson Steele, I believe. I think it was Tyson Steele. I'm not too sure. I know it was a guy with a really cool name like Tyson Steele. I think that was him. But Patishnak, 5-1 record, 1 win by TKO, 1 win by sub, 25 years old. Gregor Gracie, 7-3 record, 6 wins by sub, 1 win by decision, 2 losses by KO TKO, 26 years old, training out of Henzo Gracie's, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Don't know if Patishnak can beat another Gracie. I'll go with Gregor Gracie to win this one, but like I said, you kind of know what the Gracies will do. Just depends if the opponent can defend against it or not. Okay, next fight after that, Sidamar Honorio fights Jimmy Rivera. Honorio has an 8-3 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He's 33 years old. Rivera, 12-1 record, 1 win by KO, 2 wins by sub, on 11 fight win streak. Good wrestler, training out of Team Tiger Schulman. Really solid prospect, actually, is Jimmy Rivera. I'll go with Jimmy Rivera to win this one. And finally, Darren Costa fights Mehmen Gracie. Well, Costa has a 0-1 pro MMA record. Mehmen Gracie has a 0-0 pro MMA record. So this is his first pro MMA bout. He has no amateur fights either. 24 years old, training out of Henzo Gracie. We can kind of assume that he has some pretty solid jiu-jitsu skills. I gotta go with Mehmen Gracie to win this one. So that's pretty much it for my predictions for World Series of Fighting 5, Arlovski vs. Kyle. If you have any comments, just leave them below. That's it for MMA for you.